Schrock Innovations presents the Midwest #1 independent computer repair company with service centers in Lincoln, Omaha, Papillion, Des Moines, and across the country via the Schrock desk. This is Compute This.
Good morning, folks, and welcome into Compute This. My name is Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company. Like the big voice says, we have 4 physical locations where you can come in when you're having trouble with your computer. You can bring it in. We also have, of course, the Schrock desk where we do remote assistance, where we can help you over the internet. You don't have to come in. We also come to you. Big Voice didn't mention that. I mean, I didn't tell him to, but we actually do on-site work. We'll come to your house. We offer free pickup, free drop-off, as well as in-home and inside your business services to help you no matter what situation you happen to be in when your computer goes down. Speaking of having computer situations, if you're having a computer situation right now or a technology situation in general, you can give us a call here on the program. We are live, 888-250-2091. That's 888-250-2091. Ask a question, make a comment. We'll put you in the drawing for a $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate. Good for anything your heart desires at the service center. You can apply it toward a renewal for your Sophos antivirus. You can apply it toward a maintenance checkup certificate. Those are on sale right now, by the way, if you have been under a rock the last couple shows. Just to let you know, there is a maintenance checkup sale in effect, and this one has been really different. Number one, it may be the only one that we do this year. Looking at the promotional calendar going forward, we're a little full, so I'm not sure, number one, that we're going to be able to do it. And number two, we shoehorned this one in because we were, quote-unquote, supposed to do one now. We weren't slow. And normally, the whole point, like where the maintenance checkup special came from is in the springtime, when it starts to get warm out, we slow down. People stop getting from behind their computers. They start breaking things. They're going on vacations. They're, they're not behind their computers. They're just generally not around those systems. And when that happens, as a result, they don't come into the service center. And so we have a problem where we actually get slow. And so we created the maintenance checkup special so that we would be able to have something to do during those slower times. So customers that were still in the service, because otherwise it gets rough. You got to cut guys' hours. And, if you've been in the service business, you know how that goes. And we don't want to have to do that. So that's where the maintenance checkup special came from. And what it has evolved into is almost a cult-like sale where the people who do it, once they get in the rhythm of doing it, they do it forever. But most people buy a certificate now because what ended up happening is it got so popular that we actually had bad service because we were checking in 700 computers in the first week across, at that time, 3 locations. And I don't care how many guys you have or how hard they work. The lovely Kimberly and I was a hot date back in the day. Let me tell you, hey, baby, want to go to my shop? We can sleep on the floor because we have a maintenance checkup sale going on. And I can get up every 2 hours and push a bunch of buttons and go back to sleep. Because back in the day, that's how we had to do it. And I don't know why she's still with me. But she still looks back. Remember when we used to? I'm like, yeah, I remember that. Everybody's like, must be nice. And it's like, no, wasn't always very nice. But you do what you have to do. And we were trying to get that turnaround time lower. So we then came up with the idea of selling a certificate. So that way, you don't have to be pigeonholed into coming in for a maintenance checkup sale in the week that it's on. At the time, it was only a week-long sale. We extended it to a month-long sale to try to string out that demand a little bit as we got larger. But you can still buy the certificate. So over time, what's ended up happening is most people go to our website at SchrockInnovations.com. They go to shop and they go to specials and they buy the certificate for $59.99, and it entitles them to a maintenance checkup anytime they want in the next 6 months. And then they come in when they're scheduled, like before they go on vacation, they'll drop their computer off, for example. All right, well, this time is different. Part of it, I think, is the fact that inflation is what it is. It is hitting computer parts, guys. Batteries that used to cost us, $20, $30, $40 a battery are costing $40, $50, $60 a battery now. And I'm not talking about the name brand batteries. Everybody knows if you buy the Dell battery for your Dell laptop, you're going to pay the Dell price. But Dell sources their batteries from the same Chinese company that you can buy the battery from, and you pay half for it. And so why buy the one that's stamped Dell if you don't need to, as long as you know which one to buy? And that's part of what the guys in the shop do is they know which ones work. They know which ones don't. We had our monthly manager meeting, and the guys were just lamenting to me. They're like, battery prices have doubled. The cost of stupid small parts like DC jacks. Why would the cost of a DC jack go up? It's not made of much of anything. It's not like there's, cadmium in it or nickel. The nickel market is limit up like many days in a row. It's not like there's nickel in there or anything, or tin or anything like that. I mean, gold, nothing like that. Why would it double? But it's doubling. The cost of laptops we've seen inflation on the laptops actually hasn't been as bad as on the desktop parts, ironically. The laptops have gone up roughly, $20 a unit cost over the last few months. So what we're seeing is, though, a definite trend where things are getting more expensive. If you have a problem with your computer, it is definitely going to be less expensive to fix it today than it will be to fix it 6 months from now, for sure. Case in point, I put in that order for my brand new F-150 last August, and I'm going to get a brand new F-150 hopefully in the next couple weeks at last August's price, while I trade in my F-350 at current market price. Isn't that awesome? Because I'm getting a 6-month-old price, and that is significantly less expensive than if I were to place the order for the truck today. So the same thing is happening with computers. The cost of the parts is going up dramatically, and as a result, the cost of repairs are going up. So some people are coming in because they want to make sure that there's a problem. They get it discovered now while it's still cheaper to fix it, and then we get it fixed. Some people are concerned, and maybe rightly so, about part availability. I don't know if you've heard about this, but this last week in China was a pretty rough week for shipping and manufacturing. 52 million people were locked down due to a coronavirus outbreak in China. Without going into all the details about it, some of the factories are starting to reopen now, but basically it was 2 of the major port cities that export to the United States. So good news is those port backlogs in Los Angeles will have a couple weeks to clear up. Bad news, then they're going to have to go through it all over again because they're going to get a whole bunch of ships in one big batch again like that. So people are worried about availability. Will I even be able to get the part? Now, normally this is kind of silly because it's like, okay, can you get the part? Well, can you get the new part? Can you get a used part? Was a used part just as good? If it's like a hinge for a laptop lid, do you really care if it's new or used? It's a scrap of metal held together with a spring. Do you really care? Now, with a hard drive, you definitely want new. With memory, you definitely want new. With, motherboards, you want new. Laptops, you want new. Some things, used doesn't matter, right? So what we're seeing, especially on HP parts, and now we're starting to see it creeping into Dell as well, unavailable hinges, unavailable palm rest. We were trying to find a palm rest for a Dell laptop, and literally, it was like we were little kids doing the Easter egg hunt in the backyard. It was hard. Like, and Dad, he wasn't just like hiding the eggs in trees. He was burying them under. You had to look for the lumps in the dirt to find this palm rest. I mean, it was deep. I told you a couple of weeks ago, one time we had to buy an entire laptop just to get HP hinges out of it. That was ridiculous, just so we could fix someone's 360 HP Spectre laptop. So we're seeing that creeping into Dell now as well with lower availability. We had a customer that wanted us to ship their Dell laptop back for service. There was a problem with it. It was defective. It was under warranty. No problem. We'll handle that for you. That way you don't have to stay home and wait for the UPS guy and all this other stuff. So we box it, we ship it, we go through all the things, we call Dell, we take care of everything. The laptop that we get back is not the same laptop we sent in. You see, they didn't have the part. So they just replaced the whole laptop with a refurbished whole laptop. Now, he paid for a new laptop less than 90 days ago. Now he's got Lord knows what was broken on it, used laptop instead. Should he have just bought the Lord knows what's broken used laptop in the first place? That could be a cool brand, couldn't it? Lord knows what was broken. I'm going to make a car dealership called the Lord knows what was broken. You could buy the cars there. You may as well, right? Because under the computer world, when you have a warranty with a manufacturer, you get back whatever they feel like sending you. Here's a good one. We obviously have a really good relationship with Asus. All of the Schrock modular, solid state laptops that we do start as an Asus unibody. Then we take out all the cheap stuff that they put in there. We put in really good stuff. And then these laptops fly. They're amazing. We can hardly keep them in stock, honestly, like the Intrepids especially. went and checked quantities, and like at the manager meeting, Omaha's like, oh, if we owe laptops to customers, we're supposed to put those as negative numbers on our inventory sheet. Didn't realize that. Yeah, we're -2. I'm like, God, I've been ordering because I thought you were at 0. Okay, I'll go order more. We've been able to get them. It's just they're a little slow to deliver, but they're selling faster than we can get them in. Just amazing stuff. Well, we had a laptop, holiday special laptop, that was defective. The backlight stopped working. Now we can fix the backlight. We can order the part, we can fix the backlight, but it's under warranty from Asus. Why would we do that when we can just put it in a box, ship it to Asus, have them do it? You know what? And it's free. So yay us. And we already made it right with the customer, so we're doing this on our time, so it doesn't matter. So we call Asus, and Asus tells us we have to take it to an Asus certified service center, which we kind of laughed about. Why are we not Asus certified? Because if we are, then we have to do the same things that Best Buy does, exactly the same way that Best Buy does it. And it's hard to be, a competitive service leader when your hands are tied behind your back. They tell us we have to take it to Best Buy. We're like, really? So Marissa goes over to the Best Buy in Papillion, and she walks in there, and they all know us. Like, hey, how's it going, Schrock? Oh, hey, how's it going, Best Buy? We love you. They send us a lot of work. They genuinely do, because they're not allowed to fix anything. We tell them what's going on. They're like, yep, we can't fix that. We have to send it back to Asus. Okay, great. So she drives after going through everything, she drives back to the shop. She gets a phone call, and she says, we can't send it back to Asus. What do you mean you can't send it back? Asus, since it wasn't bought at Best Buy, we can't send it back. Wait a minute now. So now manufacturers are saying you can only we're going to limit the number of authorized repair centers in your state, and that means pretty much Best Buy. But if you don't buy it at Best Buy won't help you send it back? This is weird. So we just ended up fixing it because, it's a holiday special laptop. I mean, it's a $1,600 laptop. We're not just going to let it go by the wayside because the screen isn't working. The screen was like $100. We're going to fix the screen. So anyway, things are getting weird and different and choppy, and I think a lot of that is the reason why people are bringing computers in to get their preventative maintenance done now, to make sure everything is healthy, to make sure their solid states not only are healthy according to Drive Advisor, but are operating at the proper speed they're supposed to work at. You want to make sure your power supply, the unit that provides power to everything in the computer, is putting out all the voltages and the amperages that it's supposed to, so that you're not frying your parts inside the computer or undervolting them. If we want to replace that, we want to get that replaced, because it's not a repair part. That's a replace part. So all in all, it's been busy. Really busy, because a lot of people are not buying the certificates right now. They're actually coming into the service center. That's a little disingenuous. I shouldn't say a lot of people are not buying the certificates. We're selling more certificates than we have ever sold for any previous maintenance checkup sale in the history of the company. And more people are coming in to use them immediately. It's been a crazy thing to see, but we are living in crazy times apparently. All right, so last week on the show, if you missed it, it's up on the website, SchrockInnovations.com. While you're picking up your maintenance certificate there, you can also grab the last week of Compute This. If you missed it, we told you, of course, about the maintenance special. We brought you up to speed on the changes for the algorithms at DuckDuckGo. If you missed this story, this is definitely, if you're a Duck user, you're not going to see the same. They're going to remove some disinformation for you. They're going to decide what it is and remove it. We also talked about the importance to any business of focusing on service, and we gave some specific, concrete examples of things that we do at Schrock to try to focus on that service experience. Also, we explained how 2 internet backbones are planning on cutting their service to Russia. And that's where I bring in this follow-up story. Russia remains connected to the internet. This just in. Several major internet backbone providers said they're cutting network ties with Russia, but evidence proves otherwise. I don't know. Last week we talked about this and we said, I don't know if that's such a great idea. Do you really want to cut the Russian people off completely from any outside information? They can still get, Facebook is blocked, of course, but you can still get it using a VPN. And trust me, you may not know what a VPN is and how it works, but just like you learned how that remote control works for your new television, people in Russia, that's the remote control to get the internet now. They learn how it works. That's all. All you do is push these 2 buttons and you can get Facebook. Okay, great. Button, Facebook. Love it. If you cut them off from the internet, then they can't even do that. And then all they get are the 80,000 person, Putin rally televised into their living room, where there are reports that people were paid to be in the crowd. They were paid the equivalent in rubles of $5 to go to this event. So, I mean, That's pretty. $5, really? I mean, you got to be predisposed to go to an event. If you said, hey, Thor, there's going to be a Trump rally, and I was kind of on the fence about going, but $5 pushed me over the line, $5 is $5. Inflation's tough times. I don't know that would push me over the line to brave the crowds and go to an 80,000 person event. You know what I mean? The Huskers are playing and they're going to lose. Iowa's playing and they're going to lose. So why don't you, here's $5 extra. Will you go to the game and watch them lose? I don't know. I don't know that I would do that. But anyway, Russia does remain connected to the internet. All 3 backbones are still operational. So follow up to the story there. Wanted to make sure we brought you that news. Coming up on the program today, however, should you cancel your Kaspersky antivirus? There was an alarming report out of Germany. And Germany is encouraging their citizens to do exactly that. Of course, Kaspersky disagrees. I see your computers in the service center. I know Kaspersky is a good product. I know that it protects a computer. It does. If you're going to buy anything aside from Sophos, if you can't buy Sophos and you're going to buy something, you buy Kaspersky. With that said, there are some concerns that go into Kaspersky. So if you're a Kaspersky user, we're going to talk about that coming up on the program today. Also, new ransomware introduces a scary method to force you to pay. This is something different. So we don't see a lot of different in ransomware. We see different names. We see different countries behind it. We see different Bitcoin amounts to be paid to get your data back. If you don't know what ransomware is, it's a particular type of virus that you get on your computer that works behind the scenes to lock up all of your files. It encrypts all of your files so you can't open your pictures, you can't open your documents, nothing works anymore on the computer. And then when it's all done, destroying everything basically, it pops up a message on the screen that says, send me some Bitcoin and I will give you a little program that unlocks all of your files. Well, now they've got some people pay, some people don't, just depends on the circumstances. It's basically like, do you pay the terrorist? It just encourages more terrorism. But some people, some businesses especially, don't really have a choice because the cost of recovering the data is so much more expensive than the cost of decrypting and salvaging the data that they just choose to pay the ransom. Well, there's a new method now that's going to make it even more difficult to make that decision. So it's not just a financial cost-benefit analysis. Also, a disturbing image popped up just for a minute and then was taken down on Microsoft's website showing File Explorer. You know that window, the little folder. You click on the folder, it opens File Explorer. You can go to your C drive. You can go through and find everything you want to do. And there was a banner ad at the top of that window. Is Microsoft bringing advertising to the File Explorer windows, offline windows? The last time Microsoft tried this was Office Starter in 2010. We're going to give you a free, low-fare version of Office on the computer, Word, but there's ads when you're working on a document. There's an ad on the left side of the screen. It didn't go over well, and neither did this. So we're going to see what's going on there as well. 888-250-2091 is the number to join us on the program. As I mentioned before, ask us a question, make a comment. We'll put you in the drawing for a $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate. The show always, always, always is light on calls early and super heavy on calls at the end. And we're like rushing through them. Like, you got 30 seconds, go. If you got something you want to talk about, don't hesitate to give us a call. We're going to take our first break of the program here. When we come back, should you cancel Kaspersky? We're going to talk about it coming up next on Compute This.
Schrock Innovations can't teleport technicians to you, but online help is only a click away with the Schrock Desk. Subscribe today and get unlimited help whenever you need it. In 1798, Eli Whitney's Connecticut Musket Factory was the first business in North America to use replaceable parts in a firearm. Before Eli's factory, if your musket broke, you had to send it away to an expert gunsmith for repairs, or just toss it and buy a new musket. Technology manufacturing has come a long way since the 18th century, but you wouldn't know it by looking at today's big box store computers. Dell, HP, Sony, and other manufacturers continue to take away your freedom to upgrade and repair your computer by eliminating expansion and repair options. Some desktops are even powered by a tiny laptop adapter. Schrock Innovations believes in Eli Whitney's idea of interchangeable and replaceable components, and that's why our custom-built modular computers last longer and cost less to repair than computers computers you see at big box stores. Ask your friends and family how often they replace their box store computers, and they'll probably tell you every couple of years. And what do they do with the old machines? They just get thrown out like broken muskets. Imagine a place where your computer's problems can be fixed quickly and inexpensively. Imagine keeping your computer for 6 years or more. You are imagining the kind of computers we build every day at Schrock Innovations. Our modular systems last longer, perform faster, and cost less over the long term than anything you can buy at a big box store. While the talented technicians at Schrock Innovations can't make you a musket even if they tried, our commitment to the freedom offered by modular computers is the modern-day extension of Eli's innovative musket factory. We think Eli Whitney would be proud, and you can take pride in owning a small piece of American innovation. The modular computer from Schrock Innovations.
Compute This Pro Tip 843. Of all computer failures, the scariest and most expensive is the hard drive. But there are some steps you can take to save money and save your data before it's too late. Detecting failures early is important, so install a free utility like Drive Advisor from driveadvisor.com to monitor your hard drive's health and receive warnings when there's a problem. But most of all, hard drive failures happen slowly, so early detection is key to reducing the repair bill. Second, if your hard drive makes any unusual noises, immediately turn off your computer and do not turn it on again. These issues are physical problems, and the more you try to use it, the worse the damage becomes. Remember that most computer repair shops do not have the specialized equipment needed to recover data from a failed drive. Never open your drive or allow anyone else to do so. Opened drives always cost more to recover. Schrock does not charge for data recovery evaluations and quotes, so let the local pros look at your drive before you make any recovery decisions. This pro tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Alrighty, folks, we're rolling on Compute This. My name's Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company. This radio show, Compute This, is recorded Sunday mornings at 7 a.m. So if you want to call in and be a part of the show, call in between 7 and 8 a.m. on Sunday morning. Now, the show is rebroadcast at several other times and days throughout the week at different stations because we can't buy the same time slot in all the stations. We try, but we can't. They have other things going on Sunday morning, like God stuff that is more important. And so, well, we work with God, it's what do you do? 888-250-2091. All right. So Kaspersky is complaining about a political, quote unquote, political German advisory against it. With the invasion occurring in the Ukraine, the BSI, which is a German, basically, it's the German Federal Office for Information Security. I don't know why. Maybe they don't have to say German because we don't say it's the American FBI, Then it would be FOIS, but it's BSI. I don't know. It's German. Maybe it's just really efficient. But Kaspersky complains about political German advisories against it because of the invasion occurring in Ukraine. BSI has warned against using products from the Russian company. Kaspersky has responded to the advisory against it, based from the German Information Security Office, saying users should replace its products by claiming the warning is politically motivated. Quote, "We believe the decision is not based on a technical assessment of Kaspersky products that we continuously advocated for with the BSI and across Europe, but instead is being made on political grounds," the security company said Wednesday. Well, no kidding. No kidding. It's made on political grounds. This is, I don't know. On one hand, I don't want to equivocate the two things because, people who got canceled on social media and people who got canceled in culture in general over the last couple of years, they weren't killing children. They weren't killing civilians. They weren't dropping thermobaric bombs on people. So I don't want to create any equality between the two situations here whatsoever. But it just makes me nervous. Like, Kaspersky didn't do anything wrong here. But they are a Russian company, and under Russian law, the BSI is correct when they say a Russian IT manufacturer can carry out offensive operations itself, be forced against its will to attack systems, or be spies as a victim of cyber operation without its knowledge, or as a tool for attacks against its own customers. So that's what Germany is saying. Kaspersky could be salt of the earth company, but because they're in Russia and because Russia says they can do it, Kaspersky could be weaponized against its own customers, against the systems where those customers reside, the networks where those customers reside. And when I say weaponized, it doesn't have to be an attack. It doesn't have to be like a virus attack. A lot of people, I saw this article and it didn't quite fit into the show. I was like, oh, maybe I'll find a way to squeeze this in here, but you probably haven't heard this, but the FBI and the CISA, kind of the technology, alert warning system, warn over threats to satellite communication networks. And I'm looking at this chart. Satellite operator Viasat's Ka-Sat network in Europe remains heavily impacted 18 days after it was targeted by an apparent cyber attack that coincidentally happened in the same day Russia launched its attack into Ukraine. It's weird how that works. And literally the chart, I'm like, you can't see the chart here, but let's just say that the chart's imagine 100%. That's where the network was at. It was 100% functional. It's now roughly 14% functional. So that's where the chart's at, 14% functional. So is it still under attack? Was it damaged? Are the satellites gone? What's happening here? But yep, the satellite operator in Europe is heavily impacted. Why would Russia want to take down a satellite network? Well, one of the things that I've always wondered, I saw this drone footage of all these drones blowing up Russian tanks and stuff and thought to myself, how are they getting the drone footage? It's not like the drone is flying back and landing and they're downloading it off an SD card. And these drones are flying miles away, so it's not like it's Wi-Fi. They've got to have an internet connection. How are they connecting to the internet? Wouldn't Russia have taken down the internet? Elon activated Starlink in Ukraine, and that's pretty much all the internet in Ukraine now. These drones are being guided through Starlink satellites. That's why this satellite operator was attacked, and that's why Elon wasn't. Because Starlink was not active in Ukraine at the time of the invasion, but he was able to turn it on. And now they're able to use his satellite system to attack Russian tanks. So anyway, I mean, it's just, this is an example. Who attacked this network? I mean, obviously you'd think it was Russia, right? But I mean, who did it? Like, who actually executed the attack? Who did Russia compel to execute the attack? Did they do it themselves? Did they compel a third-party company to attack them? Maybe some other Russian service provider. So the challenge you have with Kaspersky here is, I believe that Kaspersky is a good product. And I believe they make all kinds of points. They say we offloaded all of our data warehousing and processing to Switzerland in 2018. That's when Russia passed the law saying that they can force companies to do whatever the heck they want. So they offloaded all their data processing and storage to Switzerland, right? Well, let me get this straight, though. You can still access it from Russia, right? Like if you needed to. So as a result, if somebody walked into your office and said it would be in your family's best interest for you to get me data from that network, like now, like you might want to hurry, you could do it, right? Well, then it doesn't really matter where the data is warehoused, does it? Because they can get to it through the human connection, through you. So as a result, I'm not saying that you need to run lock, stock, and barrel away from Kaspersky. I don't think that Kaspersky is a bad company, but they are definitely owned by and run by people in a bad country right now that is doing things that are there's more to come, right? And so I just don't know if you want to be on the front lines of this, if you can help it. So if your Kaspersky is up for renewal, I would encourage you to move to a different product. Of course, we would be thrilled to have you in our Sophos product. Totally would love that. But any other product, you should probably start to edge away from Kaspersky. But if you just renewed it, use your subscription up. Don't run away too fast. It's not like the Russians are coming for your computer tomorrow. 888-250-2091. We're going to take our bottom of the hour break here. Julia and Ralph, hang with us. Your calls will be coming up right after the other side of the break. Coming up next on Compute This.
If you can dream it, Schrock Interactive's website developers can make it happen. Refresh your website, automate sales and marketing, and grow your business today with Schrock Interactive. Every person listening to this broadcast has either experienced data loss or knows someone who has. When you think about it, you have a lot more data stored in many more places than you'd like to admit. Have you downloaded those videos from your phone, backed up the pictures on your iPad, or even tackled that sometimes daunting task of backing up your entire computer's hard drive? Most people just don't back up their stuff, and that's why Schrock Innovations has one of the most advanced data recovery centers in the Midwest. Equipped with the latest DDI data imaging devices, state-of-the-art custom recovery software, and Omaha's best data recovery technicians, Schrock Innovations has a 96.8% success rate when recovering data from damaged hard drives, flash drives, camera cards, and more. We all know we should back up our data, but if you are ever caught in a data loss nightmare, call the experts at Schrock Innovations to get your data back right where it belongs, safe and backed up on a stable hard drive.
Compute This Pro Tip 578. Technology is constantly changing, so how can you tell when the time has come to recycle your old outdated computer and invest in a new one? Experts have rules of thumb and formulas, but Schrock believes the answer is simple. You should replace your old computer when it can no longer do the things you need in a secure way. For example, you should not be using operating systems like Windows XP or Vista because they're no longer maintained by Microsoft and they're not secure. And if your computer cannot run Windows 10, it's probably time to begin saving for a replacement. If your existing computer requires a repair and that cost is 50% or more of the cost of a new computer, it might be time to consider a replacement. But keep in mind, additional costs like data transfers and important software you have to upgrade like genealogy software or Quicken. And also keep in mind that modern computers are engineered to last 18 months for a normal user. And don't worry, you are considered a normal user. Schrock modular PCs and solid-state laptops are specifically designed to last 4 to 6 years for that same normal user, saving your family money and time. This pro tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
News, I'm Karen McHugh. In Belgium, a speeding car slammed into a crowd of carnival revelers, killing 6 and seriously injuring at least 10 more. It happened early Sunday morning in a town about 30 miles south of Brussels. Investigators say at this point there is no indication the incident is terror-related. The driver and one other person have been taken into custody. More bomb shelters in the Ukrainian city of Mariupol have been hit. Many are feared killed.
It was a G12 art school. Men are in the fight, so of the 400 people in that shelter, most are assumed to be women, children, and elderly. Also in Mariupol, the drama theater was being used as a bomb shelter. It was marked in Russian that children were inside. Still, it was hit with an estimated 1,000 people inside. So far, we only know about 130 people making it out.
Fox's Mike Topin. America is listening to Fox News.
Actually chilly this morning with temperatures in the upper 30s. We'll see a very warm start to spring today. Breezy as well. Southeast winds gusting up to 35 miles an hour with increasing clouds. Highs around 74 degrees. More clouds on Monday. Still mild with a high of 68, but rain likely by the evening. With Omaha's most accurate forecast, I'm 6 News First Alert meteorologist David Keller.
Righty, folks, we're back at it. Ready for the second half. I hope you got your coffee refilled. I hope you got Maggie your donuts, because we are ready to go. As promised, on Compute This, I wanted to make sure we get right into the calls here. So, Julia, thank you for staying with us through the break. I appreciate it. How can I help you on the program today?
Good morning. Happy first day of spring.
Oh, thank you.
I actually have 2 questions for you. First of all, with Drive Advisor.
Yes.
On the screen, I see a place where I can click on refresh drives. Would you talk about that a little bit? Yeah,
that's a great question, because refresh drives, in the technical sense, what it means is if you plug in a hard drive, like a removable hard drive, and it doesn't immediately show up on Drive Advisor, you have to click refresh drives, and it says, oh, look, there's a new drive. It doesn't actually do anything to actually refresh the drive itself. It's not like, for breezing the drive. It's more like, oh, hey, you're there. So I was like, refresh could be interpreted 2 different ways here, right? But no, it just basically, if you plug a drive in, sometimes it takes 30 seconds or so for Drive Advisor to see it. And if you don't want to wait, you just click refresh and it'll pop right up.
Okay. The other question I have is when I did a restart on my computer, I saw something that I've never seen before. It says it needed to close a UXD service. Mm-hmm. What is that? And I didn't do anything with it.
Well, it did close eventually, though, right?
It, evidently.
Yeah. So when you
Pardon me?
It did close eventually, though, right?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, let's see here. And honestly, off the top of my head, I've never seen that one before, so I'm going to Google it real quick just to make sure I'm on it. Because this happens to me a lot when I restart my computer. I'll forget to close Word or I'll forget to close Outlook, and it'll sit there and churn on it for a while before it decides just to close it. It's related to NVIDIA driver, so it's related to your graphics card. Yeah, so your graphics card software was doing something when you tried to restart, and it didn't want to be interrupted, probably installing a new driver or an update, and it was going to finish what it was doing before it allows the computer to restart. And that was your computer saying, do you want to let this pesky little NVIDIA driver finish what it's doing, or do you want to just blow it up now? Well, you let it finish, and then it restarted when it was done. So, yeah, it's nothing to be worried about. You shouldn't see it very often, but the UXD service is related to your NVIDIA graphics card.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right. Hey, thank you for the call, Julie. I appreciate it. And that's how we get people in the drawing for a $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate. 888-250-2091. Quick program note. Today is little Lou's 4th birthday. So Daddy is required to assemble things and blow things up. In fact, there was a certain gift. I mean, he's not listening. I can say what it is. We got him a mud kitchen. You know what a mud kitchen is? Basically, it's like an outdoor wooden kitchen setup where you play with mud. You make like mud pies and stuff like that, right? And it's really fun, right? So we have to assemble it, and there's like 85 wood screws to put this thing together. They pre-drilled all the holes, which is great. So we're assembling it last night in the garage in the dark, doing the night before thing. And on the instructions on the front page, it says time for assembly is only 10 hours. Like, what? My wife says, I think they meant 10 minutes, but, China. Like something was lost in translation here. 10 hours? You might have lost a few sales over that translation error. We should probably send them an email. Like, you need to say minutes and not hours, because it did take about 10 minutes. It wasn't bad. But his birthday is today, so there is no aftershock. That's what I'm getting at. I can't stick around because we got to get ready for the party. We got guests coming, and my wife needs me there to watch Munchkins so that we can get everything prepped for the party. So no aftershock today after the program. Absence makes the heart grow stronger, right? 888-250-2091. Ralph, welcome to the program. How can I help you on Compute This today?
Yeah, Thor. I got a 2021 holiday desktop, and I'm just wondering, I probably don't need to do the maintenance checkup right now. So I'm assuming that a good time to do that would probably be in the June-July time frame, correct?
Oh, yeah. That's usually our absolute deadest time of the year is usually June.
Okay. The problem I have is I'm 3 to 4 hours away from you.
Oh, so you want us to try to turn it the same day for you?
Yeah.
Okay. And like I said, we have to be a little careful. We never promise that we can do it just because, life. The one day we promise that we'll do it, then 2 people will call in sick, and, there'll be a weird special at, the Sizzler next door, and people will bring their computers with them for some reason. It's just something weird is going to happen, and we can't follow through on it. But I can tell you that 9 days out of 10, if we get it right when we open, it's not a problem to turn it same day. The exception being Sunday, of course. Every shop but Des Moines is open on Sunday, and it's only a 5-hour day, so we can't do same day turns on Sundays typically, just because it's a little, we're staffed down a little bit because it's a short day. It was envisioned to be a pickup drop off day, but it's kind of just become a full short day now. But anyway, yeah, we'd be happy to help you out with that. And if you wanted to wait, all you have to do is go to the website and purchase one of the certificates, and then you can use it any time in the next 6 months, which would definitely take you through June.
Okay. So is there one service center I would be better off going to than any other?
Oh, boy. If you were to pick of the 3, the Des Moines Service Center has the least volume. It's the fastest growing, but it has the least volume, also has the smallest staff. The Papillion Service Center has fewer bench spots. The Omaha Service Center has the most bench spots and the most staff. But they're also one of the busiest service centers. So I would say either Lincoln or Omaha would be your best bet.
Okay.
Unless, of course, you're closer to Des Moines, then just go to Des Moines.
No, I'm closer to the Nebraska side. I'm in Kansas City, so.
Oh, okay. Kansas City, then you're definitely going to go to the Omaha Service Center, 168th and Burke. It's a little longer of a drive to get to Lincoln.
Okay. And then, should I give them a call before I show up?
It never hurts, just to let everybody know, so that basically we usually have a shift change around 3 o'clock. And so we don't want to have something happen where the people that start your computer know it needs to be done same day, and then the second people in the afternoon don't. And so what we want to do is we want to make sure that everybody knows what's going on. So it never hurts to call ahead and let the front desk girl know. So she's like, hey, you guys have that one done that you have to finish today? Which one? What one? What are you talking about? Their job is to make the trains run on time, and they do an outstanding job of it in the service centers.
Okay.
All right. Hey, thank you for the call, Ralph. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. We also got Ralph in the drawing for that $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate as well. All right, so there's a new ransomware threat out there. Of course, there's always new ransomware infections. If I spent time on every new ransomware infection, we'd never get anything else talked about. But this one is interesting because it's different. So everybody, if you don't know what ransomware is, the way that this works is you get a virus that infects the computer, and the first thing that it does is it locks up all of your files. It encrypts them all so that you can't open them. We talked about this earlier. Then it throws a demand on the screen for you to pay, usually in Bitcoin, a ransom to get your files unlocked. It's not uncommon to have a countdown timer that says you have 24 or 48 hours to pay, or the amount due doubles. Number one, if you're stuck in this situation and you're going to pay these people, the ransom is always negotiable, so always send an email and try to negotiate. Number two, this particular ransomware has a countdown clock also, except the countdown clock isn't a countdown until the price doubles. It's a countdown until it destroys your computer and renders it inoperable so that it won't reboot. So you can't ever, it deletes all the files. They're all gone, and the computer doesn't work. So then not only are you stuck regenerating whatever data you've lost, but you're going to have to, for the layperson, they'd say, oh, I got to buy a new computer now. Never buy a new computer because somebody erased your data. We can always fix that. We can always reinstall Windows and get you up and running again on the same computer, remove viruses, all that bit. Decrypting data, that's a little harder though. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to change the math formula here, because let's say you're a business and you get hit by a ransomware attack. Well, then odds are you're going to pay because you need that data back. But if you're just, grandma, grandpa with their computer, they use it to send email, and they get hit with an encryption virus, they don't really have anything that they're too concerned about, right? It's just, I just use this to communicate with the grandkids. It's not a big deal. Why would anyone attack me? I don't have anything. I don't even have tax returns on this thing. I have nothing. It's literally just my fun machine. I play solitaire on it. Those people never pay the ransom. So in an effort to change that, these guys are going to destroy what's called the master boot record on your hard drive if you don't pay. What that does is it effectively deletes all the encrypted files. So if there were encrypted files that you wanted to recover, if you were going to pay the ransom and you missed the deadline, well, your computer gets wiped and you can't recover the files. Number two, it requires you to either buy a new computer or bring your computer into the service center to have a repair done. A complete reinstall with programs, software, the whole bit, 2 hours of labor at $125 an hour. So you're looking at about $250 to repair it, probably $700-800 to replace it. So if the ransom's only $300, wouldn't you possibly just pay the ransom just to avoid all the heartache and having to go and shop for a new computer? Because you probably believe the computer will be, irreparable because of what they're telling you. So we're going to destroy your computer if you don't pay the ransom. You might actually pay the ransom. And that's the whole point. So on one hand, they're reducing the amount of time you have to pay the ransom. The one problem with this is if you don't have Bitcoin on hand, it's really difficult to get Bitcoin quickly. You can do it, but it's expensive, really expensive, like double the price to get it quickly. Do you know there's Bitcoin ATMs in the shopping malls now? Like you can go to the shopping malls in Omaha, in Lincoln, and in Des Moines, and there's an ATM there that you can put your debit card in and actually purchase Bitcoin and have it sent to your Bitcoin wallet. You pay a premium for it. It's not quite double, but yeah, you can go to a Bitcoin ATM and get yourself some Bitcoin. It's difficult to get Bitcoin quickly. And as a result, people are going to miss these deadlines. And then once it wipes the computer, there's no coming back from that. There's no hey, can I get another day? Can I get an extension? There's no coming back from that. So on one hand, they're going to reduce the number of people who actually pay. On the other hand, they may get some people to pay that wouldn't have paid otherwise. So it's kind of an interesting. Now, of course, if you're in this situation, if you have a computer and it gets encrypted with a ransomware virus, it's because you're not running Sophos, number one. You're running something else or nothing at all. Maybe because you feel the computer's not valuable because there's nothing on it. If that ever happens to you, just skip the ransom altogether and bring it into the shop and let us remove the virus and fix the Windows for you. It's the easiest way to solve the problem. 888-250-2091. Deborah, welcome to the program. Thanks for calling in today. How can I help you on Compute This?
My husband had to replace a battery in his phone recently.
Okay.
And we were wondering, how should you treat that battery now? Is there something to optimize it so that you won't be replacing it again soon?
Gotcha. It's a great question. So we've talked in previous shows about the best way to charge and recharge your phone to maximize the lifespan of the battery. Lots of people basically say don't let it run down below 40% and don't leave it perpetually on a charger, which is kind of like don't charge it too much and don't run it down too far. It's
Right.
The bottom line is no matter how well you treat the battery has an expected lifespan of 2 to 3 years before it's going to show signs of degradation, where the charge isn't going to last as long, where it'll discharge more quickly because, especially when it's doing intense things. It'll recharge more slowly. They degrade over time, and there's nothing you can do about that. So the challenge here is how long has he had the phone?
Probably, oh my goodness, probably at least 4 years.
Okay. And
or 5 years.
Is it a smartphone?
Yes, it's an iPhone.
Okay. So 2 years from now, that phone will be obsolete and he won't be able to use it anyway.
Oh, okay.
So he live life, enjoy life, eat an extra dessert, because there's nothing you can do to that battery that's going to make it outlast the phone. Now, when I say it's going to be obsoleted, Apple is going to eventually say you can no longer get software updates for that device because it's too old. And then as a result, you won't be able to get apps for that device. And when you can't get the apps are what makes the device. And then you end up buying a new device. Or you can't get security updates, and you get it because of the security implications of it. And they make it so affordable anymore, especially now that Apple's releasing the cheap iPhones again, like the Walmart iPhones, that you can go out and for a penny get a new phone that's got 1-year-old tech in it. So you're not on the bleeding edge. For somebody who's a normal casual user, though, the phone would perform phenomenally better than the one he has now. Although I'm guessing he's enjoying it quite a bit more now that it has a better battery.
Yeah, it's much better.
Yep, nothing too much. If you're really concerned about it, Apple actually has its own battery management technology. When you put it on the charger at night, it will charge up and then it'll stop charging. So
yeah, I've noticed that.
Yeah, it does that to prevent the battery from getting a continuous trickle charge. So there's some things that Apple has done to try to maximize the battery life so you don't have to worry about it. So my advice to you on this particular situation is don't worry about it too much because, like I said, the battery lasts another couple years. That means the phone is 6 years old. At that point, it's no longer going to be supported anymore. You'll be looking for a new phone anyway at that point, and there'll probably be a sweet deal on a 1-year-old tech phone for a penny to upgrade it or something, especially if you're trading in an old iPhone.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Hey, no problem. Thanks for hanging on the line there, Deborah. I appreciate it. All right, 888-250-2091. Going to take our final break of the program. When we come back, we're going to get to Chuck's call here. Thanks for hanging on the line there, Chuck. Also, is Microsoft planning on putting ads in your offline windows now? Some people are saying, Microsoft's giving you like 5 years of free software upgrades. Shouldn't you give them a little something in return? Like maybe some ad space on your screen? And most rational, reasonable people are saying, no. We're going to tell you all about it coming up next on Compute This.
Drive Advisor is a free program from Schrock Innovations that monitors your hard drive's health and tells you if it's going bad. Download it for free at driveadvisor.com.
Remember the good old days when virus detection worked like Where's Waldo? Spot the virus in the striped shirt and you win. Today's infections are changing hourly to avoid detection and use social engineering to trick you into making mistakes. Using yesterday's security to defend against today's threats is like using leeches to stop an infection. It just doesn't work. We recommend Sophos Intercept X antivirus backed by Schrock's virus-free guarantee. Sophos uses the power of AI to detect the patterns of a virus attack and responds with Schrock's custom actions that stop it fast. With Sophos on your PC, Mac, Android, or iOS device, you get the state-of-the-art protection you need to defend against the most advanced attacks out there. In fact, if your device gets a virus while running Sophos antivirus, Schrock will remove it for free, guaranteed. It hasn't happened yet, and we intend to keep it that way. Ditch your dad's antivirus and keep your device, data, and identity safe with Sophos and Schrock Innovations.
Compute This Pro Tip 178. Those little life-saving surge protector strips are vital to your computer's health and should be used whenever possible, even for laptops. As computers get smaller and more powerful, they're also becoming more sensitive to dirty power, and your power is a lot dirtier than you might think. Even if you have a whole home surge protection, most power surges are generated within your own home. If you've ever vacuumed and seen the lights get dimmer and brighter, you created a surge. Surge protectors can only absorb so much energy measured in joules. When that capacity is exhausted, your surge protector becomes a glorified extension cord and needs to be replaced. You should always look for surge protectors that give audible alerts when they're no longer able to protect your equipment. Schrock recommends these because the lights on most strips are just power lights and they don't tell you when it's time to replace the unit. If in doubt, replace your surge protectors annually to keep your expensive TVs, computers, and other electronic equipment safe. This pro tip is brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Alrighty, guys. Boy, this hour has flown by. I mean, it's crazy. And I feel bad. There is no Aftershock this week, guys. I'm going to miss it too, okay? Because there's lots of crazy things going on in the world to talk about. But I'm going to miss it too. But it's my son's birthday, so I've got to be there. I've got to make sure that everything is ready to go according to plan, and he has a good fourth birthday, because we all know what happens to children when they have a bad fourth birthday. It impacts them for the rest of their life, and there's just no coming back from it. So we can't have that happen. It's a Hot Wheels birthday party, guys. There's a Hot Wheels track. All right? I'm going to race some cars. 888-250-2091. Chuck, thank you for staying on the line. I appreciate it. How can I help you on Compute This today?
Thank you for taking my call.
No sweat.
I just wanted to express my thanks to Sean in the Omaha office. He helped me set up the HP print scan.
Yep.
And he said he was a junior tech, but there wasn't anything junior about the way he handled my call and the way he had patience with me. And I just wanted to give him a attaboy, because he is an extremely talented young man.
You know, Chuck, you are making my day right now. This is Sean's first customer compliment. He is literally in week 2 with the company. We hired him because his energy was off the charts. He's actually going to be working in the Des Moines Service Center. He's training right now. He's living in a hotel in Papillion while we train him. Because he didn't know anything about, I mean, he knew tech, like all kids know tech, but he didn't know anything about like how to do a maintenance checkup or how to test a hard drive or how to put in a motherboard or how to build a computer. 2 weeks ago, he didn't know anything about that. But when we interviewed him, his energy was so off the charts. Like this guy's going to be a customer service rock star. He just needs the technical skills. And we can train technical skills. You can't train someone to be a good person. You can train them.
He's a rock star in my experience.
Oh yeah, he has come so far in 2 weeks. And the eagerness to, on day 2, hey, can I answer the phone? And we're like, no, you can't. And then the first time we let him answer the phone, he almost said his old job's name. Thank you for calling, incidental insurance. We're like, what? Like, this is why we can't have nice things, We're kind of giving him a hard time. But no, he's doing amazing work. He's going to be over in the Des Moines Service Center with Chris. We're transplanting Chris, actually, from the Lincoln Service Center because we just can't find techs in Des Moines. So we're literally paying money to move them from our other service centers to the Des Moines metro area so that we can make sure that we have the same level of service in that service center that we have in all the others. And he's going to be a big part of that going forward. So thank you so much for taking the time today. It's always nervous when we have a new employee coming in, and it's great to hear that he did a good job for you. I really appreciate you taking the time to call and tell me that.
Don't be nervous with Sean.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right. So is Microsoft planning on putting ads in your Windows, your file server, file history? If I could talk, that would be great. I'm looking at the clock like I only have 4 minutes. So when you open up your file manager, when you're going to look, you're looking for a file you saved in your downloads folder, your desktop or whatever, Microsoft may have accidentally revealed that ads are coming to Windows 11's File Explorer. The quickly retracted banner ad hints that Microsoft may once again be attempting to integrate ad spaces into the components of its latest Windows operating system release. So the revelation was discovered by Twitter user Florian Bielboy. It's French, I don't know. A Windows 11 user who also holds a Microsoft MVP certificate. So this is a real guy. In a tweet, he said, "Some people will go mad if Microsoft starts adding ads in Explorer," and showed them an image captured of a banner ad appearing at the top of the File Explorer window. The ad in question read, "Write with confidence across documents, email, and the web with advanced writing suggestions from Microsoft Editor." Read, it's Grammarly. The tweet earned a lot of attention. Of course it did. Microsoft quickly responded by saying, "This was an experimental banner that was not intended to be published externally and was turned off." As The Verge noted, The Verge is a media source here, LeBlanc's statement did not in any way preclude the possibility that the experimental banner will make a return in the future. It's an experiment, right? Well, I think the experiment failed. I don't know that people want to see ads. Their justification is Microsoft is spending a boatload of money over 5 years to keep your software secure and running. Don't you want to give them just a little bit of ad revenue back? And the resounding answer is pretty much no. Nobody wants to have ads on their computer screen within the operating system itself. It might even be another great, if Microsoft does this, it will just give Apple one more thing. They could run commercials like, "We don't have to put ads on your screen." It's like, come on. Oh boy. All right. So as a reminder, no Aftershock after the show today, but we'll be back next week. We'll have a full show and a full Aftershock for you next week. And I'm going to leave you with this story that I had saved for a potential Aftershock before I knew I couldn't do it. Chipotle is testing a new tortilla chip robot. Yep, because it takes too long to make the tortilla chips by hand when you have to pay $15 an hour to a guy who makes tortilla chips for a living. So instead, the robot makes tortilla chips, but you see, the robot was too perfect at making tortilla chips. Apparently, Chipotle did a study, and people like to find the one chip that has a little extra salt, or the one chip that's got a little extra lime on it. So they purposefully have designed this new tortilla chip cutting robot to be inconsistent with its application of salt and lime. So therefore, you get the same human experience from your tortilla chips that you're used to having, even though Chippy is making them for you. Gotta love it. Ralph, congratulations. You're the winner of a $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate. Marissa, well, not Marissa. She's on vacation. So I think Parker will get that out to you. Somebody will get it to you. We'll see you next weekend, guys. Thanks for joining us and have a great week.
From the Amish Furniture of Nebraska studio, your home for